On self-discipline and talent. Self-discipline without talent can often achieve astounding results, whereas talent without self-discipline inevitably dooms itself to failure. Sidney G. Harris. When you look at some of the most successful high performers, it might be tempting to say that they were born this way. They are talented, end of the story. In fact, talent, while undeniably makes life easier, is but one part of the equation. I used to be a shy and fearful person. If you compared me, the awkward outsider, with the most successful guys at school, you could say they were born talented to be popular, liked, and as alpha male as you could get, while I didn't have such luck. However, my apparent misfortune turned out to be a source of strength because it provided a spark to introduce big changes in my life. By continuously pushing my comfort zone, I not only overcome social shyness and improved my communication skills, but also developed high self confidence and overcame other fears in my life. I might not have been born with the talent to be a people person. I still prefer solitude to crowds, but with self discipline and consistent work, I still achieved astounding results. Next time, before you complain that you don't have a talent for something or weren't born this way, remind yourself that self discipline in many situations can more than make up for a lack of inborn traits. Day 12 on calmness of mind. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. It is the result of long and patient effort in self control. Its presence is an indication of ripened experience and of a more than ordinary knowledge of the laws and operations of thought. James Allen. If I ask you to show me a symbol of self discipline, you might think of a Buddhist monk capable of sitting still for hours and then with an empty mind and only a hint of smile on his face, content simply to be. Such self control feels like a superpower in today's busy and fast moving world, in which distractions lurk at every corner and buzz in every pocket. A person who is capable of maintaining calmness of mind is a rare individual, but fortunately, you can also become one if you are only willing to put some effort. Implementing some kind of meditative practice in your weekly schedule will not only help you increase your self control and develop more patience, but also reduce your stress and make you feel happier. The most common practice to learn how to calm your mind is to meditate. However, meditation isn't the only habit that puts you in a meditative state. The key is to developing everyday calmness is focusing your attention on the present moment or on a single activity that you are performing. Engaging in a high focus sport like yoga, rock climbing, or boxing can be a good way to tap into this state. Also, can be something as mundane as gardening, dancing, or knitting. The more often you put yourself in a meditative state, the calmer you will become in everyday situations. Cultivating calmness will lead to even more self control, and that will lead to an ever heightening ability to control your state of mind and prevent emotions from clouding your judgment. Day 13 on what you want now and what you want most. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Unknown. If you are on a diet and decide to eat a piece of chocolate, you are deciding that the instant feeling of pleasure is worth it more than your long term goals. Obviously, one piece of chocolate doesn't immediately translate to gaining weight, but it sets a precedent that, over the long term, does change your body in such a way that it reflects your preference for what you want now, not what you want most. Each time you make a choice that favors instant gratification, your behavior signals that you have weak motivators. If your reasons why were strong enough, you will be less likely to go with what you want now. Imagine a straight line. On one end, there is a satisfaction you get from what you want now, and on the other end, there is a satisfaction you will get from what you want most. If the two ends are close to each other, meaning you only want what you want most a little bit more than what you want now, you will have a problem delaying gratification. If, on the other hand, the thing you want most is much more rewarding than what you want now, you will have an easier time resisting temptation. To achieve your long term goals, make sure that the satisfaction you get from what you want most is always much stronger than the satisfaction you can get from what you want now. Day 14. On long term focus. In order to succeed, you must have a long term focus. Most of the challenges in our lives come from a short term focus. Tony Robbins. I spent several long years starting one business after another, deluding myself that it was possible to build a six-figure business in a few months. Each time I failed to reach this goal, I closed one business and started working on another. Sometimes I worked on two or three ideas at the same time, thinking that one of them would surely succeed. I would have saved myself a lot of time if I had realized that I had a short term focus, and this attitude had been the very reason why I couldn't accomplish my goals. The moment I switched my mindset to that of being in it for the long haul, things start falling into place. When I look back at my other goals, I struggled in a similar way due to the same reason. In fitness, I want to build a well defined physique as quick as possible. I frequently reduced my daily caloric intake to levels that were impossible to maintain over the long term. In the end, I would have accomplished my goal more quickly by taking a more sustainable approach that will take me a year or two to reach my goal than fooling myself I could reach it in 2 or 3 months. In learning languages, I want to learn new words as quickly as possible and soon found myself discouraged from looking at even one more word. I want to learn a few dozen words a day, but in the end, I would have accomplished more with a routine of learning just 5-10 words a day, but maintained and used over years, not just weeks or months. Analyze your goals and how you approach them. Replace the short term oriented behaviors with those that show that you're in it for the long haul. Self discipline isn't limited to rejecting a cake or sticking to an exercise habit. You also need self discipline to maintaining a long term focus in all of your endeavors. Day 15 on constant improvement. Knowledge has to be improved, challenged, and increased constantly, or it vanishes. Peter Drucker. Just like the knowledge, you can take self discipline for granted. Unfortunately, being a self disciplined person isn't a one and done kind of thing. Once you have learned how to live that way, you can still lose it if you don't constantly strengthen it by setting new challenges and rejecting instant gratification in favor of bigger future rewards. Never assume that you are disciplined enough. There is always a new area in which you can improve your self control and further expand your comfort zone. For example, regular exercise poses no challenge for my self discipline. In order to strengthen it, I need to set bigger and bigger exercise related challenges for myself. Instead of focusing on fitness, I can also find a new area in which my discipline is lacking, such as developing more patience with dealing with other people, and focus on improving it until it's no longer a test for my resolve. Such consistent practice ensures that you're at least maintaining your level of self control and ideally always getting better at it. Day 16 on self reliance. A man then must stand erect, not be kept erect by others. Marcus Aurelius. There is no doubt that surrounding yourself with people who support your goals is helpful. It's easier to exercise with a friend, diet along with your spouse, or belong to a community of frugal people. However, as Marcus Aurelius say, you need to beware of relying too much on others. If the only reason why you exercise is because you are doing it with a friend, the moment they drop it, you will likely revert the old days too. If you're on a diet only because you want to lose weight to attract this beautiful friend of a friend, the moment you learn they are in a relationship or aren't interested in you, your self control will be gone. If you are productive at work only because you're afraid of your boss, how likely will you be to exhibit productivity when they aren't around? Your motivator should always start with you and your own resolve to make changes. External support can be valuable, but just like a person recovering from an injury isn't fully recovered if they can't stand without a crutch, you aren't self disciplined enough unless you can still stick to your resolutions even without the help of other people.